Hello and welcome to a new episode on 90 zeros. Today we are going to see variables in Python, the lesson 2, which is quite important because this is a most important topic which you are going to use in each and every space of Python or whatever application you are trying to develop. Variables are the most important thing you need to understand and use it wisely. So before we get started with the course, there is a prerequisite for this course as well. The first thing is you should be a beginner, while the second thing is Python install system. I think you might have already installed the Python or the IDE which you are gonna take today. Third thing, a notepad to take notes. I think this might have already been noted in the last video as well. So I already informed you that you should keep a notes right beside you to take notes of whatever course we are doing today. So let's get started. And the first thing today we are going to see is what are variables in Python, and we will see the basic syntax. So first thing is, what are variables? Variables are nothing but a reserved memory location to store values. This means that when you create a variable, you reserve some space in memory, and when you assign a value to that value gets stored in those location where you reserve that space in memory. So this is the basic logic of variable. And what is the basic syntax of the variable? On the left hand side you give a name and followed by equal to sign, and on the right hand side you assign some value to those variable. For example, consider a case here, count equal to 10. Here count is the name of the variable followed by an equal to sign, and 10 is the value which you are assigning, and 10 is an integer number. So you also already know that a numeric is called an integer in Python, and a string which is written in double quotes are called for example a string contains a value inside a double quotes, while a float with that decimal number is called is getting assigned in Python. So example like count equal to 10, name equal to 90 zeros, and height equal to 2.8 is the example today we are gonna see. Once I run this, sorry for that. Okay, let's run. And I tried to rerun, and when I try to print all those value, you can see that this get printed as count 10, name 90 zeros, and height as 2.8, the value which you have assigned. So yeah, we were able to create a variable and assign it some value to it. And we saw three different type of variable as well, like an int, a string, and a floating point number. Can we assign? Can we do multiple assignment? Yeah. Yes, we can do multiple assignment, like a equal to b equal to c equal to 1. What does this mean is it is setting a equal to 1, b equal to 1, and c equal to 1. So when I try to run and print this, you can see that a equal to 1, b equal to 1, and c equal to 1 has been printed. You can assign a equal to b equal to c 1 comma some other string variable as well. So if you want b to be a string, so you can do that as well. In a single line of code you can assign or read whatever value you want for that variable. Next important topic we are going to see is local versus global variable. So if you want to understand what are local and function or a loop, for example, consider a case. I have assigned x equal to 10 at the top, then I have created some function and assigned x equal to 1 over here, and I'm trying to print x inside the function as well as outside of the function. So when I try to run this function, you can see that output is 1 and 0. So 1 is for the value which is assigned inside the function, and 0 is the value which is taken above the function. So in the next case we will see how a global variable works. So I assigned y equal to 0 and created a global variable with the keyword global to it, and I'm trying to print that value, so it printed 0 and 0. So but when I try to reassign a value inside the function, which is a global value, and try to print it, it prints y equal to 1 as well as y equal to 1, both inside and outside of the function. That is how you set a global variable, while the local variable is used commonly used when you are trying to assign a temporary variable inside a function. But if you are gonna use this variable throughout your program, it's better to assign it as a global variable. What if you assigned a global variable and you want now it to be deleted? So you want to delete those reference which you have created. For example, consider by mistakenly or by known you created a variable named list, and you are trying to create a list function. So it will throw an error because already a list variable is created, and list function, when you try to assign something on the list function, it will get errored out. So what to do in that case is, like, you can use the del object to delete. Del method is already there, and after that you can pass the name of the variable or the list to delete it, and once you delete it, it will get deleted, and the reference to that number or the integer, everything will get deleted. So when I try to check here, it will throw an error since there is no reference left on the memory. Next thing we are gonna see is standard data types. This is quite important because this thing you are gonna use in lots of places throughout the codes. There are 5 different standard data types. The first one is int. Second is string, str, list, tuple, and dictionary of type dict. For all this case, we will see some sample example, as well as we will walk through it, each one of it, and find the difference between all the 5 of this. In the first case, the number, where an integer is assigned to a variable, and when I try to see the type of the variable one, it shows it as int. Next, the string variable, the string data type. So when I try to assign some string value to variable 1 and 2, the value gets assigned, and when I try to print, get concatenated and prints the hello world. When I try to see the type of variable, it shows as a string. What if I want to print only some character from the string? So you can do that as well. For example, I'm trying to print from the character 2 for it starts from 0 for the string hello till the 4th character. The fifth is the exclusive one. It is not inclusive, so it starts from 0 and it will print till 5. So for example, I consider hello. So H has been mapped to 0, E has to 1, and L has been mapped to 2, L has been mapped to 3, and O has been mapped to 4 from 2, 3, 4. So L, L, O should be getting printed, and we can see that it gets printed over there. Next, we are gonna see is the data type list. So if you are familiar with any other programming language, you might already know that there are different data type over there. Like you can create an integer type of array, a string type of array, but here in Python you can specify both string as well as integer in single type of list. Like in this example, I have created a list with both the type, like we have a string as well as int as well as a decimal or floating point number I have assigned, and when I try to print, it gets printed. So it's a valid type of list. But and if you want to fetch the value based on indexes, you can fetch that as well. And if you want to copy the list, like I'm doing it here, you can copy the list, the value of all, you can copy the all the values from the list and reassign the same list. So this will get doubled up in the same list. When I type to check the type of the list, it will print list. The third type, maybe the fourth type, is the tuple. And the tuple is a similar kind to the list, but there is some difference between the list and the tuple, which we will see in some time. But for now, the basic syntax of the tuple is tuple equal to and the round bracket. The first difference you might have identified right now, that list is having a square bracket while tuple is having a round bracket. And when you try to print those value, it gets printed, and it also carries all type of values into it, like it can be a string, int, or a floating point number, or you can pass even a list to a tuple. You can even fetch based on index in tuple, like tuple square bracket 1, and it prints the index 1 value. What is the difference between list and tuple? I already shown that the bracket is the difference, square and the round one. And there is some important difference as well, like you can update a list, which I am gonna show here, like I'm updating index 2 of the list with the lag, while print try to print it, it gets updated where 2.23 to 1 lakh. When I try to do the same thing with the tuple, it doesn't get updated, because tuple are of read-only type kind of list, so you cannot update any value once it has been assigned. So these are the major difference between list and a tuple. While you can form a list inside list and tuple inside list, rest all is similar to what a list can do. So the last thing which we are gonna see is a dictionary type. This is one of the important data type in Python, because this we are gonna use most of the time if we wanna store a key value pair. The dictionary is nothing but assignment of key value pair. It has a curly braces, and you can see in this example, like already created an empty dict, then adding two key value pairs. One is having a string as key, and one having integer as a key. So when I try to print it, it prints it automatically, like 1 with the value and 2 with the value. So we'll check the type of the dict, and when I want to fetch it based on the key value, it prints the key as well as for the integer as well as the string type. If you want to fetch all the keys, you can use the keys method on the dict type, as well as you can use the value for the dict type. So that's all for the today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed, and you might have taken notes of all the use cases which we have presented in today's lecture or video. If you want me to speak up something more on any of the topic, you can comment below, or if you need any help, or you want me to explain some topic like a dictionary or a tuple in much more detail, you can comment as well. That's all for today. Thank you.